Hey, this is Randy from BibleBuyingGuide.com. Today I'm taking a look at the Thomas Nelson New King James Single Column Reference Bible. It has 72,000 cross references, 10.5 point font, concordance, Smythe sewn, and 2 satin ribbon markers. Now this one is black genuine leather. I like the clamshell boxes. Really nice, really nice. So this is black genuine leather with premier stitching. Has an embossed green. It looks really nice and smooth. Has an elegant texture to it. I like that a lot. Nothing printed on the front, and then on the spine we have gold printed indications for the spine ribs, but these are not raised or anything like that. And it has Holy Bible, the New King James logo, and then the Thomas Nelson logo. And of course this one is paste down liner, the vinyl lining. It's not real floppy, but it's not real stiff either. But now it will take a little bit for this to break in. I've used this for about a month. I got this back in December, beginning of December, when I visited Thomas Nelson headquarters in Nashville. And when I visited Nikki Gatman and Daniel Mars, and I have some videos from those conversations where we saw several different Bibles, and they did give me this in exchange for an honest review when I visited them. So this is made in China, and it will take a little bit of breaking in for it to stay open perfectly, but it's not bad at all. 36 GSM paper, really elegant paper, has a good texture to it. It's easy to turn. I like to grab pages and just sort of separate them with my fingers, and that's easy to do with this. No glare under direct light. Really nice and opaque. Really elegant. I like this paper a lot. Some of my favorite paper. Single column edition, with about maybe 10 words across, 12 words across. That's perfect for me. This is my ideal word count. I love that layout. References are placed in the margin. Now they're not directly across from the verses they correspond to. Like you'll see some pages where they always start down here at the bottom, all the way down at the bottom. So you'll see some pages where you have a lot of space, and then some where you don't, just depending on how many references there are. 72,000 references, and then this is the standard New King James references, the standard New King James footnotes. Now let's zoom in here. This is a 10.5 point font, but now this thing is really dark and sharp. I like this font. This is the typeface that 2K Denmark designed for the New King James. Red highlights all throughout this Bible. Verse numbers, chapter and verse numbers in the margins here, or for the references, are red highlight. And then within the text we have the cross-reference and footnote keys are red highlight. I'd almost like to see the chapter numbers red highlight. I mean the verse numbers red highlight, but maybe if they make this in King James, they can do that then. I would love to have this in King James. It would be a beautiful King James edition. Then across the top in the header we have the book name with the chapter, and then a line, and then the page number underneath that. Really nice design. This is a easy Bible to hold and carry. Really nice. Beautiful Psalms. Just really pretty Bible. Now it is a black letter edition, except for the red highlights, but the words of Christ are in black rather than red. I would love to see this red used for the red letter, for the words of Christ in red. Really nice. Then in the back we have, New King James is just a pretty layout. Beautiful layout. Very back we have our concordance. This is the standard New King James concordance. A lot of entries here. It doesn't have names except for Jesus. It does have Jesus. Not a lot of other names, but it does have a lot of entries. And then back here, in the very back, we have a reading plan. Compact edition does not have the reading plan, but this one does, the one-year reading plan, with a morning and evening reading, Matthew and Genesis, and it gives you the date and all that. Easy to follow. Then we have our Zondervan maps. I like to see a Red Sea crossing. That's one of the things that bugs me about most maps. They rarely have a Red Sea crossing. And there are a lot of different places that it could be, and it could be why they leave it out, but I would like to see something there. But I love these colors. This is the thick paper that's a little bit glossy, so it does get a little bit of shine on that. No shine here, but you will see a little bit of shine here. But really beautiful colors. These are some of my favorite colors for maps. They're annotated really well. There's not an index, but they're annotated really well. 2 satin ribbons. Really nice. So let's look at the size. See how big this thing is. So this actually has the same block as the Premier Collection, but it's just a hair smaller. Let's see. Let's use American. So we got 8 3/4 by 5 1/4 or 5 3/4. Let's check out the spine here. By about 1 7/8 almost. Close. It's a little bit, just a little bit smaller than the Premier Collection in its overall size. Let's see how much it weighs. It's also just slightly lighter, just slightly. Not a whole lot. Not enough to really make a big difference. But we've got 2 pounds and 10.5 ounces. The Premier Collection is about 2 pounds and 11.8, something along that line. Speaking of Premier Collection, let's do a comparison. I love this Bible. Beautiful Bible. If I could change one thing, I wouldn't mind it being a little thinner. I'm kind of a thin Bible kind of guy. I like thinner Bibles, but I mean, you have to make them a certain size. There's no way around that. Everything is a trade-off. You can see the size difference there. Everything's a trade-off, but the paper is the same. Now, the paper is not going to always be the same. They got lucky with this run, and they were able to use the same paper, but that won't always be the case. So let's go to page 1170. 1170. There we go. These have the exact same layout. So they're identical. They're the same thing. Might have to zoom out so you can see that well, but they are the same thing. Same Bible. Now, I do love this leather. That goat skin is beautiful. Price difference. You can get this one for, I think the manufacturer's suggested price is around $150. You can get it for around $80 to $90 in that range. But let's just look at the manufacturer suggested is $160. Whereas the manufacturer suggested on this one is $89 or $90. So quite a bit less. But both are excellent Bibles. Both are elegant. I like both. I recommend both. And let's take a look at this guy. This is the compact edition. Now, they're not the same Bible. They look like the same Bible, almost exactly the same, but they're not the same. Different pagination. So you can't just pick up one and go to the same page number on the other. For example, let's go to 1156. They are a little bit different. So here, 1157, we have Isaiah 30. And here, 1156, we have Isaiah 53. So, different pagination. Same design, same concept, same font, but just different size, of course. A little bit different paper. This paper is more elegant than this paper, although I do like this paper. This one is quite a bit smaller, easier to carry and hold. That's a great Bible for carrying around with you. This one is too, though. They're both really good for carry. All the references are the same. Concordance has the same information. Maps are the same. This one does not have the reading plan. Other than that, same material. And let's look at this one. It doesn't take much to amuse me. Alright, so this one is the Cambridge Clarion. Quite a bit smaller footprint. noticeably smaller. Noticeably smaller. Width is about the same, but it's quite a bit shorter. Little bit thicker, not a whole lot. Not quite a quarter, maybe. Font is pretty close. Pretty similar, really similar. Let's see, Psalms 115 in that range. Let's just go somewhere in Psalms. Somewhere in Psalms would be good, just to get an idea of what they both look like. This paper is nowhere near as opaque as this paper, but this is elegant paper. There's always more to paper than opacity. But that's really expensive paper, really good stuff. I like both. Psalms 90, let's go to Psalm 90. A little cool back here in my studio. Don't have a good heat back here. So that's what they both look like. We'll zoom in just a little bit so you can maybe get a good look at the two. Yeah, that's those. Now, this one, manufacturer suggested, is quite a bit more. But you typically find these for about 120 to 150, depending on where you get them. And you'll find this one for quite a bit less than that. So if you're looking for something price-wise, yeah, I don't have any issues recommending this one. I would only get this one if you wanted a little bit smaller. That's really it. Other than that, I would go with that one, because both are really nice Bibles. Now, I'll post a few links in the notes, links to the written review with more information, and I'll answer any questions that you have about it. If you have anything, just ask away. Thanks for watching.